In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit.
Wait, did you just call me a hobbit? Sheesh, I know I'm short and that I'm eating potatoes in this hole in the ground. You know what? Actually, I understand the confusion.
Hi there, I'm Patrik.
And I'm Laurana. Welcome to Hole in the Ground.
This is the beginning of our journey to build our Earthship home
Which we affectionately call a hobbit hole.
in beautiful Idaho. An Earthship is a type of alternative, self-sustaining building. It uses some really clever designs that allows it to be passively heated and cooled. It uses collected rainwater that can be filtered and used throughout the house up to 3 times, and it uses old tires that would otherwise end up in a landfill as a central building material. If any of that intrigues you, stick around and we'll tell you more.
The Earthship concept was pioneered in the 1970s by Michael Reynolds, and you can see a wide variety of Earthships all across the world. There is a whole community of Earthships around Taos, New Mexico. There is also a beautiful Earthship up in Big Sky, Montana, and it was our stay there that convinced us that we wanted to build one of our own.
An Earthship is a type of rammed earth building, which means that dirt packed really tight is a central feature of how the home is constructed. In this case, the entire back of the house is made of a tire wall, where old tires are filled with dirt and compacted to create a sturdy, insulating wall.
Yeah, and the good news about using old tires is that they are readily available, and because they've already been driven, they won't have that new tire smell anymore. There are so many incredible features about Earthships, but I think this one is my favorite to talk about. So we mentioned that the whole back of the home is a rammed earth tire wall, right? So the whole front of the home is glass, a bunch of south-facing windows. What this means is that the winter sun heats the concrete floors and warms the home, and in the summer, the sun doesn't get into the home as much. The other important feature of our home is that there will be a second wall of glass inside the home that runs the entire length of the house. This creates a temperature buffer zone that will be warmer than the rest of the house, which means that the living portion of the house stays comfortable and that you can grow food in the greenhouse portion of the house that stays warmer all year round. We'll tell you more about that later.
The cooling for this home is really incredible. So I should mention that behind the tire wall there will be an earth bank heaped up behind the home. This earth basically acts as a battery and insulates the house to allow the temperature to be really stable. Running through the tire wall are a number of culverts or tubes that allow cool air to enter through the back of the house. Don't worry, there will be several layers of fine mesh on both ends of the tubes to make sure that no little critters or anything like that make it into the home. At the front of the house, there are windows along the top of the wall of glass that open, and thanks to the science of convection, when those venting windows are opened, it pulls air from the tubes, through the tubes, out of the back of the home all the way to the front, cooling the whole house.
Yeah, it's really remarkable that this Earthship design can work in really hot climates like New Mexico and in extremely snowy areas like Montana. When we were at the Earthen Home in Big Sky, it was basically the hottest part of the summer and we were totally comfortable for our entire stay.
If you're freaking out about us freezing during the Idaho winter, thank you for your concern. We're really not that worried about it, but if it makes you feel better, we are required by the county and by code to have some form of active heating in our home, so we will have cadet heaters in each room of the home.
In the earth bank behind the house, there will be several thousand gallons of water cistern capacity designed to catch rainwater. This will be our source of water, and we will use it throughout the house 3 times before discarding it. The rainwater from the cisterns is run through a robust filtration system and used initially as drinking and shower water. Then, the water from the shower is used to water the plants in the indoor greenhouse, which we'll tell you about shortly. And finally, the water from the planter beds is used in the toilets before being run out to the septic tank.
Okay, let's go back to the layout of the house again. Remember how we mentioned that there would be 2 rows of glass across the entire front of the house? The second row of glass is there to trap some of the heat into this middle space, turning the space between the rows of glass into an indoor greenhouse. Without the second row of glass, the south-facing windows at the front of the house would be kind of too good at letting in the sunlight in the summer, and that house would just be too hot. But with the second row of glass, we get that temperature buffer zone that allows the living portions of the house to stay cool, and it has the benefit of making it possible to grow plants all year round, including fruits like grapes, tomatoes, and strawberries. The elevated temperature also makes it possible to grow tropical plants, which will be kind of hilarious to see in a place like cold, windy Idaho.
Now that we've given you some of the nuts and bolts behind an Earthship, let's explain what in the world we are doing trying to build one ourselves.
After we got married, we discovered that environmental issues were really important to us, and we started getting interested in clean energy and sustainable building technologies. A few years ago, we saw a video on YouTube about an Earthship in Montana, and we got totally hooked on the concept. We knew we wanted to test out staying in an Earthship before we got serious about making plans to build one, so we booked a stay at a beautiful earthen home in Big Sky, Montana. Everything about our stay was dreamy and totally reinforced that this was the kind of home we wanted to build and live in. The owner and builder was also so gracious to answer our questions about what it was like to build his 2 earthen homes, which was super helpful.
Yeah, we put our Earthship dreams on the back burner though, figuring it would be many years before we found ourselves in a position to build one, but in an unexpected turn of events, we found ourselves deciding to move back to Idaho, where we were presented with an opportunity to build an Earthship home.
We will be doing most of the building ourselves. This is partially a cost-saving measure, but certainly not a time-saving measure. But more than that, we wanted to have the experience of putting our own effort into every part of the house so that we can have the experience of living in a home that we feel totally connected to after so much time spent imagining, planning, and building it.
We've spent nearly a year in preparation to begin building, and we'll tell you all about that in a separate video. But the point is, we're here building our dream home now, and we want to share our experience with you in case it entertains you or inspires you to build an Earthship or gives you the courage to build the life you are dreaming of.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.